Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. I'm Coach Lyndon.
Amy.
Coach Debbie.
Oh, give it a kick.
And this is Coach's Corner, where we help people change their relationship with food and fitness via our experiences. So, like the video, share the video, hit the notification button, and subscribe, because literally we do this for all of you. I figured we should just dive right in. We talked about dynamic balance last time, but we stopped on mental?
No, we talked about dynamic balance.
Okay,
two
we
times ago.
got through spirituality to a point. I don't think everyone finished.
We were talking
Right?
about
And you
how
didn't
we
finish.
Wasn't dynamic balance.
how
it
we
was,
get through.
I was using
season,
dynamic
right?
balance to give practical application of how you do so.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
that was the last one.
Ways
yes.
to stay grounded.
Grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about grounding. Yes, because I
It
feel
ended
like
on
that was the thing.
spiritual.
And we ended
Shit.
on spiritual, and you didn't get a chance, and
Yeah,
that was
that's
it.
right.
Okay, so
think
you were
you were
mid
finishing.
mid talk,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
never got a chance to. Okay.
But then we
Okay.
talked after.
Yeah, it's fine. So I would love for us to, because dynamic balance is balance, movement, and balance combined, right? So I want to make sure that people are getting practical
Both sides.
things to use, right? Yes, we talked about static last month, and a lot of people immediately went to things like meditation, which is why I tried to mention things that were moving, right? Grounding, like walking, things like that. Even athleticism work is like all based on being able to stabilize oneself in movement, right? So that's what we're doing this month. That's what's happening. There's gonna be a lot of bouncing, jumping, and moving. It's usually what we do in the winter anyway, because everyone's all lower energy. So I wanna cover that in general as far as the things that we talk about. So if y'all feel like we finished, I ain't gonna push it. But let's go ahead and let's move into the next thing. We have the wellness challenge. We always do challenges around this time, right? And I don't think people understand the importance of challenging oneself. So why don't we talk about challenges physically, mentally, and spiritually? Want to start?
Challenge.
Yeah. Challenge for self, physically, mentally, spiritually. Like talking about what that looks like,
And
maybe some of the things that we're doing.
Okay.
All right, so that way people
Alright.
get some direction.
Physical challenge. I think that's important because your body grows like a weed with physical challenge. You know, like your body wants that physical challenge in order to make the adaptation. I think if you look at science, you look at nature, that's not just our bodies, but literally any living organism responding to external stimuli. So you expose that organism to some different external stimuli and it makes an internal change to deal with that stimuli. And that's, to me, the basis of it all. It's like you want to challenge yourself physically so that you do change, so that you continue to grow and you continue to change forward. That upward movement or that forward movement has a lot to do with the challenge.
Yeah.
And it has to be, in order for it to be a challenge, it has to be something that like you could fail at.
Fail forward.
That's a big part of it. I think people like to say they're challenging themselves, but if it's not something that you can fail at, I don't really consider it a challenge.
Weird. Yeah, that's a fail forward.
Yeah.
I feel that. I think in this season for me, my physical, my challenge is resting. It's like slowing down, asking for help, not like powering through, as I like to call it, because I'm really great at that. I can do that. I can plow through. I can be like, yeah, this shit got to get done. Push everything, push my needs to the side, push that shit to the side. We'll get it done. We'll deal with it after. And then, 7 years go by and you're like, fuck, that's a big pile to deal with, isn't it? Who put that stuff there? So I think that for me personally, I find it easier to challenge myself physically, to fail physically in those spaces. Yes, it's challenging, but I think that it's easy for me to accept those challenges. It's easy for me to walk with the failure and to see it pushing me somewhere else, whereas like maybe stopping and asking for help. It was something as simple as like helping me carry shit. Like, I'm not good at that. I'm really not. I'm not good at like
Accepting help.
Then that's like, it's a metaphor and it's like real tangible shit, like the groceries. and like other like, things of like, you know,
I got it.
if I'm struggling, which is a little bit more of the mental side, but like, you know, using the support that I have, taking rest when I'm like, yo, I'm maybe really actually could use that right now, and recognizing it, that it's not always about challenging myself to physically push. Sometimes it's challenging myself to physically rest so that I can push and it doesn't put me at risk of injury, sickness, and instability. Yeah.
And I think that last part is how I like to look at it, is the things that you're trying to accomplish, are you accomplishing them to the best of your ability? And a lot of the times it's because of stuff like that where the answer is no for me, where it's like, well, if I rested more, I'd be able to push more.
Harder.
You know?
Yeah.
I'd be able to push harder, more consistently
fair.
for longer.
Right.
And if you look at it from that direction, maybe that gives you more incentive to meet the challenge. It's like, it's hard, and when I do meet this challenge, maybe that helps me on the other side of things.
Totally.
That's a big thing. The thing is that we talked about balance before, right? So like when we talked about balance before, it was making sure that both sides are feeding the beast, right? So like, you know, we're not even getting into spiritual, we're just talking about the mind and the body being connected, right? So if you're always pushing physically, then that's not really challenging yourself anymore, right? Now that's what you do. So now you have to find a way to do something different, right? So like, it's like as a general, right? We had, I think, all three of you, and I was like, I'm the fucking opposite, right? Like I raised my hand because we were talking about what helps you feel grounded, right? Like what helps you feel centered, and all of you chose movement, right? And I was like, I'm actually very different than that. Like I need a plan, because a plan is accountability outside of myself. I could train myself, I could take care of myself that way, but having someone else's thing to do and knowing I have to challenge myself in that thing has kept my growth constant. So the balance would be sitting still and like hating it until you figure it out, right? Because sometimes sitting still is doing the thing. I'm really good at sitting still, so mine is doing like getting out and doing and executing, and that's what helps me to grow. I just took a big step today. Like there's things you should always do that kind of propels you forward based on the thing you don't like to do, because the thing you don't like to do is the thing you've been avoiding, as Amy just alluded to, right? We don't want a big pile. We want something we can pick up and handle, right? So it's something, that's what it is. And again, you gave it as a metaphor, but I don't even know if you meant to give it as a metaphor. If the pile gets too heavy and you struggle asking for help, now you have no choice but to ask for help, but at the same time, you don't like asking for help. So that's what makes the pile continuously get bigger until you're standing there looking at a pile like, guys, this is embarrassing as hell, but I need it, right?
Yeah.
And that's not where we want to be, right? We want to be on the opposite side. Hey, can you carry this one thing? Because this is very light for you. This is very easy for you, and I can handle the rest, but I would still like some help. Versus I have no choice, right? Which is what you don't want to be. So I think that was like a weaved analogy, if you understood it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know why I got the jojoba oil on the table. We're gonna put
Weird.
that
Yeah, that was interesting to listen to because, I feel like almost the opposite right now. Like I hear what you're saying, and I also, it's like it's a cautionary tale, sort of. Because I right now feel like I have to keep moving so I don't get stuck still. Like, oh, I really can't do that. Like, I hurt my finger, I got a cold, like I need to rest for like 7 days so I can feel really miserable. Like, I think I'll go there. So, and I'm not saying don't rest. And when you were talking, I was just thinking about how interesting that balance is of rest and activity, and like where to find the best mental health balance and physical balance in there. Because I do, I have a cold or whatever. We ran in the snow yesterday. I was like, I cannot do this in my head. But it actually turned out to be really positive because I was able to find gratitude in it and felt better afterwards, weirdly. So right now,
Not weirdly.
movement for me is showing me like what my body can do, what I'm capable of, what I could actually build through, and like building perseverance and resilience that I need to have in this next season that I haven't had because I rested too much in a way.
You're comfortable resting. That's like your normal.
I am comfortable resting, but I thrive on movement. So it's a more of a mindful thing to keep moving. But that doesn't mean I don't also have to think about stopping. That's why I wrote in the group, this weekend or just my meditation practice at night, taking some time that is stillness by myself, I think is really important. But right now, the challenge for me is keep going because some days suck.
Well, I think
and I don't want to keep going.
I think that's what's beautiful about both the stories. It's it does feel opposite, but it's also very much the same because you didn't say it's not a forsake one side for the other.
No, not at
it's
all.
It's not like you're saying in this season, no rest. I need to just keep going. You literally said part of your keep going practice is reintegrating meditation, rest into it, right? So part of you going in this season is learning how to intentionally rest.
Learning balance.
Yeah. So I think that's dope.
And I think I have also had times where I make a pile. I have definitely made a pile. In fact, I got a huge pile.
I still got a pile,
I have
man.
to be, and it is hard to ask for help. And I feel like, I asked for a lot of help in the last year. So it's even harder to ask for help right now. I don't want to cry.
Do it.
Keeping it inside. But no, there's just an inherent pile from a massive explosion. So I have to deal with the pile, but I have to keep moving forward, and it's such a weird balance. And if I don't move forward, I'm just gonna sit in the pile. I know me, and I'm not gonna ask for help. And so just it's little bites for me. It has to be little, addressing the pile as I'm able to, getting what I need to keep moving forward, and finding that really delicate balance of rest and movement.
Who's currently helping with your
it's a
pile in
challenge.
this season?
I mean,
What's up?
I'm
Don't look.
y'all helping.
You guys. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me. I mean, you're helping. I just, I do tend to clam back up if I feel like I've been a burden. So I think I'm not trying to ask for that much help right now. I'm trying to offer help and
She's
be present.
I'm just being too much. And then I'm like, who said that?
Well, I told you.
Did
I know
anyone
what to say. I know what to say. Hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. I got something for this. Hold up.
I
got one for it?
I'm a little worried about what you think you got.
It's actually something that I
I'm
wrote.
ready.
Oh,
Okay. Well, I'm ready now.
I wrote some.
I'm ready now. It's from a source I'm okay with. It's fine.
Lean on me, please.
Okay. Yep. Great.
Great.
It sounded like it was going to be some introspective reveal, and he was just like, lean on me, please.
I liked.
Which is,
I did think it was going to be
honestly,
a paragraph.
No, I wrote as part of my little self-worth challenge that I've been doing daily. I've been writing a lot.
Yep, what she's doing.
And I wrote about because when my abandonment wound gets hit and starts bleeding, it comes in forms of feeling like I need reassurance, right? My inner child being like, yeah, we're fucking scared, so then we're gonna do some old shit that doesn't work, but that's what we know what to do, yeah.
It's a great table.
How tightly can I fucking control this thing, right? Out of fear. So
Imagined you on a spaceship or
100%.
something.
There's a
blasting off.
reason why we relate so bad. 100%.
So I wrote a list because we were talking, and part of that comes out as me apologizing a lot, right? And I realized that this is a need for reassurance because I'm I'm sorry. It's ah! So I wrote some responses, not just for him, but for myself too, to reassure my little Amy when she gets all fucked up and starts getting loud and the fear comes to the forefront, that are just simple phrases like, hey, you're safe. I love you. stay here with me.
Oh, I see. It
I don't,
Like,
know, I don't
just
know where that's
little
been said so many
phrases.
times.
So that's what that.
I don't know how many times I've said that in this circle to everyone.
Yeah.
I think that
You know?
little Amy and little M would have been friends.
Yeah.
Why can't they
That,
be
like,
now?
Could have used
they are.
each other.
Well, I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
It's like,
Day.
Could have been, but fuck it.
Nah, they could have been. I'm saying.
That's the table, bro.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Little Amy knows what I'm saying.
Did we notice?
Damn it.
Did we know?
Lil Amy and Lil Emma are playing right now on camera.
Yeah.
Literally.
All right, let's
I'm not saying what you're saying.
let's hop
but I'm
into
saying-
mental.
am.
Yeah.
No, and the little, right now I got a little trauma trigger shit going on. And yeah, that makes it harder. Go ahead.
Solid.
Look
I
away!
have to go.
To the bathroom? It sounds like it's Debbie's turn then.
No, I don't have to go.
Or it has to be my turn again.
Okay. Look. Okay. Let's just sum it up. Let's call a spade, okay? When it comes to mental challenge, physical. When it comes to physical challenge, I'm completely off. There are certain things that you do, like everything you do, if it's challenging you, it's taking where you are and pushing you. That's it, right? So if you look at it right there, and again, this is so interesting because I got into training and I trained the way I train and I teach the way I teach because I realized that people were afraid to truly challenge themselves, right? So I used to do this like real structured, we got to go by this number, we got to do this thing, we got to do that, it's got to look like this. And I realized that a lot of people were at home doing random stuff because they were afraid of that point where there was no way out. So I started building a system for training that looked like progress in like 3 or 4 different ways for a person. So that way they couldn't really track it until it had already happened. And then they were like, they felt elated about the win because they didn't even feel like pushed to a point of breaking. And then once you've done it 4 times, then you're like,
Now they're
I could do it
addicted.
a 5th,
Yeah.
right? It's doing it the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd time that's really, really important, right?
Yeah.
Physical challenges are just challenges in general. That's how they work.
Yeah.
But I literally think if you can trick the mind by giving it what it needs, it will teach you the lesson of resilience,
Yeah.
right? So, again, we built a system here at Getting It Daily where you can do that. You actually come in, like ladies will just randomly go up, right? And they're like, oh, it's so random. I'm like, it's not random to me. And they don't realize what I'm saying. I'm like, no, I've been watching you this entire time. Our programs are built so like, you're not really focused on how hard you can push a bell above your head, but you've been building the ability to push a bell harder above your head. And that's what becomes the win, and you don't even see it yet. Right? I'm going to use Christina as an example because she has become
was
my
just talking about
current
C-Mac.
favorite client.
Let's
in
talk
the
about
season.
C-Mac yesterday.
Yeah, she's become my favorite like person to watch in the season because there's a level of I want to be better that she's just showing up with.
Yeah.
And that right there is all I ask for, right? So when that happens, I said it this morning out loud, like in front of everybody. I was like, that's all I need to know that you need me, right? And then I show up. So if you tell me that you need me,
Message.
if you tell me you need me, I'm always there. That's who I am as an individual. I will move mountains to be there for the people who are like, I need help, right? But when it comes to self, I do it structurally, okay? Because if I don't do it structurally, then I will find ways to go around it. So that's important. Mental.
So mental challenge to me looks like it's gonna sound
Yeah,
crazy,
Guys.
but maybe not. Mind games. It
That's not
looks-
crazy.
Yeah, it just looks like mind games.
That's what I just literally said.
That is what you just said.
Yeah.
But
Please explain it.
I'm
No,
gonna
please explain it.
expound on it.
Yeah, do that, please.
I think a lot of people play mind games with other people. Now do that to yourself. You know, do it to yourself and see what happens. I think those are the mental challenges for me. It's like, hey, I've never done this thing mentally. Can I do it?
Give an
You know?
example.
A good example would be currently, anytime there's a public space that I'm in where someone says something open to like the public space to respond. Can I respond? You know, like that's the game.
Respond in general, or
Can I just
respond-
have some response?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like if
All right.
If someone's not speaking to me directly, but they are like speaking to the room and like looking for feedback, if I am quiet during that time, it's probably that I failed my challenge, you know, because if you knew me before, I didn't speak much, especially in those settings. I realized I was like the one spot I was speaking the least. You know, like one-on-one, have a conversation with you all day. But as soon as we're in a big group and people are like, you know, I don't really see the point of eating green leafy vegetables, right? And then I'd just be over there like,
I'm like, you a fucking lie?
Yeah,
That's
and-
literally
right.
me on the side. You was such a goddamn liar. You eat green leaf? Yeah. When? Never. Then how you gonna ask me no dumb shit? Like, because people do need that.
and to be
100%.
real, like I was telling Marjorie this, my inner voice has always been that. Like some old pimp being like, you a fucking lie. You know, like that's my inner voice. And if I don't like share that voice in those instances, I feel like I've failed my challenge, because the challenge is to have that voice to
be you?
Yeah, to have that voice be
So let
present
that voice just be you. That's just me and you.
in all conversations, in all contexts, whether it's with my mom, whether it's with my dad, whether it's out in public, whether it's in private, like to always speak that same. So I did that to change my neural pathways from your normal is to shut the fuck up and listen.
I actually think it's good too, because number one, people need to hear it, but even more so, what happens a lot, which is what I'm not a fan of, and I will call that shit out. And if you've been in a room with me, you've seen me do it. Passive aggressiveness, right? Like I can't fucking stand when people are passive aggressive. If you have something to say, you should just say it. And that way we can really talk about it. I think everyone here has seen me call someone out for their passive aggressiveness.
You've called me out.
Right? Like I don't like that at all. Like it's not a thing for me. And it's because you're hiding, right? Like it's funny when you started saying like you were having conversations, I immediately thought, I was like, don't say it on camera, but then you can say it on camera. I was like, that's a fucking lie, because you said good on one-on-one, but I've also seen you freeze up when they say certain things, right? But I realized where you were going with it, so there's no need for me to speak on it outside of noticing the thing right now. So you were using the big moments in like public space to make it easier to really just speak authentically. And that's what I said. I think I said a couple podcasts ago, I was like, yeah, people were like, Devin's rude. I was like, what'd he say? And they tell me, I'd be like, is it wrong? And they're like, well, I'm like, so you think he's rude, but he's not wrong. They were like, I don't think I'm gonna talk about this anymore. I was like, you came to me, right? Like you need to hear that you came to me. I didn't go looking for you for this information.
Well, I think you had a great question too. You were like, would you rather in your life for longevity have an honest asshole or
a lying bullshit gentleman?
Yeah.
Bullshitting gentleman. Yeah, that was a funny one.
Yeah, I was like, that is a good question to ask
Brett
yourself.
came up with that. That wasn't me.
Brett?
That was a Brett question.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's
I gotta
funny. That's
reach
even
out to him.
funnier than
I gotta
Brett.
reach out to him. Yeah. I gotta reach
Yeah.
out to him. I was actually saying that. There's a couple challenges I'm having to take in this season, and that is one of them. Is allowing the door to be open instead of closing it, because that's easier. It's easier for me to close the door, 100%. It's hard for me to say I love people and only love them when it's convenient. So there's going to be some conversations that are very, very hard to have, but they're absolutely necessary. And just not like, this community needs Bretts. It needs the people I'm going to have these conversations with. It deserves the people I'm going to have these conversations with, and they deserve to have a space as well. So that is absolutely a thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you taught me that. You did.
All right.
Yeah, I
Stop loving me! I think we've all been there. Who's next?
Who's next?
Who's next?
Yeah, it's me. I'm thinking of, listening to you guys talk. It's that mirror, right? Are we able to look in the mirror of other people? Are we able to see that? I think that is a huge mental challenge that everybody struggle with. Hey, kids, talking to you.
Why? Why her? Stop it.
Randomly, bruh.
No, that lady didn't even look.
She said, I'm telling you, I can see her. I can see her.
Her aura was off.
That's exactly what
I
you
mean,
did.
actually, that's what happens with her. Stop.
That you want to get up? You ain't gonna let me out? I was barking.
Nope.
So, yeah, that just came to mind, right? I think that's where a lot of people struggle is a lot of times when we're like, man, this person, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, yo, don't you just do that though? Have you ever been with somebody where you're like,
Facts all the time.
you know you do that
Yo, as I get flipped, just your bathroom.
I think we're probably all guilty of that
Yo,
too.
100%.
I'm definitely guilty
Yo,
of
let
it.
me ask you this. Have you been talking about somebody and while you're talking about them, you're like,
Yeah, right?
Yo,
For sure.
hold
you.
on.
That's
yeah.
100%.
I do that all the time.
100%.
Yo.
You'll say some shit. I'm like, that motherfucker lying. He don't be thinking that fuck. That's like literally mid.
yeah.
I'm like, I've been there. Like I know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it, but I see it and I'm mad at myself.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what we talking about, right?
And it's
Like
a matter of, are you throwing that anger at somebody else?
Yeah.
Or are you using
when
it to
when he
make
started
change?
getting visceral, I was like, you know, he just be saying shit, but it's not really saying shit. That's how I felt before I started like realizing I had to change that narrative for them as well as you. Like you were looking for a place to do the thing, and I'm like, that's 100% how it was. I'm like, he said that? Oh my God, motherfucker, I gotta, right? Like that's how it was the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, and I remember them being like, yeah, I'm valid. I was like, never again. All it took was one time for me to see how they took it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't saying it was valid for them.
Yeah.
I was actually saying like, God dang, he just out here cussing y'all out? Like that's what I was getting at. But because I'm trying to appease a person or make a person not feel bad, I'm like, all right, well, let me just say, I get where you're coming from, right? And we all do that.
Yo, I've done that. And
Right?
that's what you taught me. is to do less of that.
Yeah,
because
100%.
Because I think people run away with that. It's like I hear where you're coming from, or your emotions are valid.
nothing else
and then
matters.
nothing else is right.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're taking that as, oh, I'm right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
fuck that
yeah,
person.
yeah.
And walk out. And I'm like,
Hell yeah.
I said a whole paragraph after that. You
Right.
didn't hear it. Like,
I didn't want to hear it. That part was irrelevant.
yeah. So I realized the first words that come out are actually the most important for where people take their conversation.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, is it wrong?
Yeah.
And they're like,
No, damn. Yeah, flip the table. Get out while you can.
Go to the bathroom.
And then the other thing I just wanted to say, I think this season is a really big mental, also spiritual challenge for me. I'm walking in
I
that.
see you walking both.
But the mental, I think my biggest thing is trying to change the narrative. So like coming up with those little sentences is like part of it. Having something else to say when like the soundtrack starts playing and it's like, you're a piece of shit, and then we list all the reasons why, because we all know them, right? Let's go through the list. Who doesn't love a good fucking list? So I'm trying to switch the list so that it's not just like 87 ways that I'm a piece of shit today,
Right.
you know?
Facts.
So it's hard. It's not easy.
That used to be the bop.
the internal monologue.
I love this one.
Oh shit, this one?
I love this one. It's killing me.
I ain't shit.
I don't deserve
ain't shit.
respect. Fuck you, Amy.
Don't validate me, don't validate me, don't validate me, don't validate, right? You know what I'm saying?
Fucking piece of shit. Yeah, don't do that.
Self-respect the window.
Yeah.
Get in that endo.
Hey.
Making sure I'm endo.
Yo. All right. Let's continue on. I'm getting hyped.
I keep going. I keep
Moving on.
That's being raised by
Not
pimps.
follow
Hashtag
the
being
song.
raised by pimps.
Getting hyped.
Hashtag being raised by pimps.
Oh shit.
Yo, why you said under? She said, oh shit.
I love that.
Hey, yeah.
Much. I feel possibly distracted, but I'm gonna go with that song. I can't stop. So I'm gonna go back to the run yesterday. I think I spent the first mile and a half, 2 miles,
How long you run for?
5 miles.
Shit.
Ooh.
I think Yeah, first 2 miles though, I think I was just like that song the whole time. I'm
You
like
running to that?
song, and then I was listening to no music, and I was just
music.
playing that song. And then he's like running ahead, and I'm like, I could tell Lyndon that I feel like shit. And then what will probably happen is that we'll stop running.
And
It's like, I'm not telling Lyndon shit. And I'm just gonna keep telling myself I'm a piece of shit for 2 miles. And then after those 2 miles, I was like, well, okay, my legs are still moving. I'm running with little M. Like, all right, I've told myself I'm a piece of shit for like 2 miles, but I kept going. I didn't cop out, and my feet are still going. There's no reason why I have to stop. And how about we're gonna play a mental game called gratitude.
Hey, yo, this is my favorite. No, but for real, this is my
Put my
favorite.
track on.
This is my favorite fucking
track.
mental game.
Yo, good game. So I was like, I've been
Good
trying to play
game.
this game.
One of the hardest games.
With myself. And so I was like, fuck it, this is a good opportunity. I hate it, but it's a great opportunity to play that game. So, and the worst thing that could happen is I could run 3 more miles telling myself I'm a piece of shit, but I could instead try to not do that. So I started to think of things I was grateful for while I was running, and I made a list of that.
Do you remember the first thing you were grateful for?
Oh,
Yes. The first thing I felt grateful for, I wrote you a list afterwards, but I actually really like being outside in the winter and running
Hate
through
it.
the
Hate it
city
so much.
because it was 5 miles. We get to go like farther, more places than we normally, like we're down by the
I was
Strong.
like, Jesus, take the wheel. I was just running.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
That's
you're-
literally what was happening. I didn't know where we were
It's an
going.
excellent course charter
Ah!
over here.
I was just like,
Yeah. You were like, now this way. Yeah, we kept zigzagging everywhere.
you were
I
like,
was
where are we
"This
going?
is
I was like, I
ridiculous."
don't know.
Dynamic balance.
But it was good because I was like, this is distracting, weird.
I should have yelled it.
zigzag
Dynamic
Keep your feet under you.
Hard left.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's literally how it
This
was.
way, that way, this parking lot,
The
that
get out
one,
run.
okay. So yeah, that. So we're running around, the snow is falling, it's fucking snowy. And I was like, this is so, but the lights of the city, and like, I love Rochester.
You're talking about the prettiness of the snow.
We were running like by the Strong Museum, and I was just like, man, it's so pretty out here, and there's people out in the car. I don't know, something about that I just like really like. And then I thought about like, man, I'm able to just like, I've been in my head, which in the bad way, but also I can be grateful because I'm not fucking paying attention. I trust him to where we're going.
Hey.
And like charting how long we have to go, and I was
No
like, that's,
idea.
That's why we're zigzagging around.
It's the leadership. You know, you
Yeah.
don't need to know
I
where
was
you're
just
going.
like, oh,
As long
this
as
is
you're
so
confident
nice
about
of
where you're
you
going, we'll
to
get
be
there.
charting this course. Neither of us like is like, yeah, run in the winter. But like
Message.
we're doing it though. We've agreed to do it. And he's charting this whole course. And I'm like, man, he's really paying attention to how many miles are left to see where we're at
Okay, that's
and make sure we don't go too far away. So I
That's
started
very
to
cool.
figure out what you're doing. And I was like,
Wow.
man, that's fucking great. I'm grateful for that.
Hey,
And then I was like, I'm tired, but
you're
why
great
am I
at this
tired?
game. This is
Why am I
great.
tired? Thanks. That was my, one of my first tries. Like in that way,
Yeah.
And I was like, but my body, I gotta blow my nose every 5 seconds. But I was like, nothing actually hurts. My back kind of hurt, but I was like, but it's okay.
Nothing hurts.
It was my back.
Everything hurts.
My feet were fine. My legs were fine. I could breathe fine, which was like so much a blessing because I do have a stuffy nose. Like I could breathe better. I was like, okay, we're getting it out. Like my body can do this.
That's crazy.
And I never would have thought that when we started running like last year.
You're in a body that works. That's crazy.
Yeah, my
That
body
is That is one of the
works.
most grateful things I
Fuck
return
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Is like, imagine how easily you could have been born in in a disabled body.
Yeah.
fair.
Or what if I we're active all the time.
Get
You could hurt
disabled.
yourself. You gotta
Yeah.
be mindful. I was like making sure my shoes had no tread. I was just like trying to be balanced there, but it was working out. So
Love
I started to make a list, and we made it. We made it to 5 miles, and
You're not a piece of shit. Look at that.
well,
Well, the
still
jury's
working
still
on
out. I'm
No.
pretty sure I'm still a piece of
I'm
shit
just,
today.
You gotta take the baby steps. No,
right,
I'm not a piece of shit, but I definitely feel kind of low at the last few days, and it was but even so, that baby step feeling thing was big for me. I think all those little tiny moments for me are so big, and so I'm just trying to okay, I did that, cool, and then I shared it because I wanted to I don't know. I want to share it with you because you probably didn't know. I was like appreciating this.
You definitely said it. I heard you
Mindful
say it in the beginning.
course,
And
and-
that's where that separation started.
What?
I'll tell it when I
I
love.
no fucking
Go
idea what
ahead.
you're talking about.
I can see
Go ahead.
see your neural pathways changing, both of
Yeah.
y'all, in real time.
That's
It's
what
crazy.
we're trying to
Yeah,
do.
that's very
like
fair.
The whole,
That's actually
It's
very
nuts. Like
fair.
I'm over here like, huh. I can actually see it, and it's not even a see. It's more of a hear.
Yeah,
Because
well,
people
you are
talk.
seeing
People
it
talk way different.
because you know the path previous.
Yeah.
how the path previous ran. Like that's probably one of the things I love the most about what I do is watching people really change.
Yeah.
Not lose a little weight, but like really change. Right? Like that's
the
I'm
voice
like,
in your head
huh.
changes, and I'm
Yes.
like, oh, yo,
That's the
there-
first step.
This person's
It
voice in
has
their
to.
head changed, and like they're not even saying the same shit. And then I'm like, oh, well, that is the first step, and then everything follows.
It is.
I can see it happening right here
Yeah.
in real time, like every time we sit down
We're
here.
gonna
and it's
write
just
a new
like,
song.
You're already writing.
New song,
You're already
new song
writing
in
a new
Tucson.
You got to give yourself some credit.
Right now, it's like deaf poetry, right? It's not
It is. She wears her hat like this. You ever see the one hat that she wears?
Oh yeah.
Hat that it's like back
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And she's like, I'm not sad at all. I'm like, your hat literally is like
Your hat is sad.
frumping. So you're probably a little sad.
Oh my god.
Just a little sad. Your hat says you're sad.
Readjust our hats.
Gotta readjust your hat.
I would
That's
like
right.
to note that
Or
I
your
am not
crown.
Respected.
Or your
Inside
crown.
out.
I'm just saying, readjust your crown.
That's right.
That's the way I look
I
at
just
it.
realized I had one. Continue.
I think you knew you had a hat on.
Continue.
No, a crown.
Oh,
We've only
okay.
got a little bit of time left on our
Yeah.
SIM card, so
All right,
let's get to the
Let's go, let's
spiritual.
wrap it
Make
up.
it
Get
chitty
that
chitty bang
SIM
bang.
card.
I think I kind of covered mental already to add to M's thing, but to try to close it out and then just literally loop the spiritual. In the beginning, you did actually say that you didn't feel good and stuff like that. And like anytime my body doesn't want to do the thing, I realize that I'm supposed to do the thing. And I will push forward in that moment because of where I naturally go. So you probably remember this now. I said, you'll remember when I say it. I was like, yeah, sometimes you gotta do some shit you don't want to do. And I said, and then you realize why you're doing it. When I hurt my knee back during the summertime, you were like, how are you even running on that knee if it's that bad? And I was like, what would Skip tell me to do if my knee hurt? Like, what would be the response? So I've learned to do this, and that's why I'm saying it right now for people who might need it. I can love you where you are, but if you don't move, then I have to create some separation, right? And I'm not doing that to be mean to you. I'm doing that because all the other people I help, like I had a ton of shit going on yesterday. I had to go to the appointment, found out my wife's sickness and things might land us in triage at any moment, which is why I don't want to leave her alone. You know, you were dealing with some stuff and you were sharing some of the things with me, right? Amy shared some things with me. I know Dev needs me more than ever, like just using who's at this table, nothing else, right? And that's a lot for one person to carry. But I remember saying, I said this to you. I said, I asked for the burden of leadership when I realized that nobody was taking it. And that means I have to be strong enough to carry it. So these moments where I don't want to do it are exactly the moments that I got to show up. And my legs, like my body said, that's it. And I started to run fast as shit. And I had to stop myself to be mindful for M, right? To be in. So then I literally said in my head, I said, God, I need you to show me where I'm supposed to push myself in this moment because I can't go faster. So what do you want? And then all I would see is like something would happen and be like, go right. And I'm like, go right. Right? And we ran through like an apartment complex. There's no way I even knew that there was an out, right? Like I was just like, fuck it, let's go. Like, and I went in and we went through it. And apparently you really appreciated that. I didn't fucking know. Like I didn't. It looked like it was super planned, probably to some degree, but I really.
No, it didn't.
No, that-
I was like,
That
is he
was
fucking
at
with me?
least once a day.
I thought
for
you were like fucking with me for
Nah.
a second. Then I was like, whatever. This is distracting and great. It's good. I trust
What's
it.
he doing?
What are we
Fine,
doing?
it's
I
fine,
don't
it's
care.
fine.
I trust it. It's good.
which is huge, right? Because there's two ways to lead, and I talk about them all the time, from the front and from behind. I prefer being in the back and leading, right? I prefer to let you guys do your own things, let your guests be their things. But then there's moments where the community feels heavy, and I gotta be fucking superhuman in those moments. I can't just be like, it's fine, everyone's beat up and I'm just gonna stay behind. I have to be literally superhuman. So you can ask him all day yesterday, I was a ball of positivity and it didn't even fucking make sense, right? Like, cause I had so much stuff going on. I was like, I can't do that now, right? I'll get my chance, but I can't do that now. And I pushed for the last 48 hours. I've been killing it. I had 2 hours of sleep in the last 3 days, right? Like multiple nights
Get this
in a
man
row.
some sleep.
Right? And then yesterday, my wife was like, I'm okay, we're okay. And my body said, phew. And I couldn't move. I hit the door, I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning
Yeah.
at like 2. I was like, oh shit, I was really tired.
Yeah.
I don't even know when I'm tired when I'm doing it for someone else. I think that's a message for other people who are wondering where to find the strength, right? Find something you can depend on. That's why we're also big on this community. You guys' trust has become my strength, straight up. And that's into the spiritual aspect too. When it comes to who you are, when it comes to what you do, you need to have a bigger why. Your why will carry you. And I think you can find that with other people.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why you always just be saying all of it? All right.
Because the shit is the shit, you know?
That's true.
There's
I
only
can't
one
change
answer.
it.
There's only one choice.
Right? The best version of you cannot exist if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. That is literally what it is. And that goes to your partner that you choose for life. That goes to the people you spend your time with. You cannot be your best self by yourself. I promise you, I've tried. It does
Yeah.
not work. Right? I got a couple years on this earth. That shit does not work. You will not know who you are by yourself. You will know what you think you are, but you won't know who you are by yourself. So how y'all see me becomes my strength in this current season. I have no idea where this is going. And you all know what I'm talking about because I've shared with you what I mean by that. I have no choice but to become the person who can carry the situation. That's how I look at it. Not just the kids, I'm talking about my kids, but all of you, right? Like this family needs me as much as my family at home, and I gotta be in both places the best place I possibly can be. So I'm taking a lot of challenges on in this new season, including the 75 hard. And that was tough yesterday. I couldn't even drink water. My throat was swollen, right? Like all this stuff going on, bad business. We did it, right? Now we're on the next day.
Oh boy, not the double thumbs.
Is it on to me?
You look really disappointed.
I don't
You're
know.
not passing it off. You passing it off?
Yeah, I'm passing it off to you.
All right. I don't know if we got time for
Do
all
it.
I'm
Make
about
it
to
short.
say, but I don't got shit to say. No, I'm
That's
joking.
it?
No, I'm joking. All right. Everything Lynn said, I'll just expand on that with a little example. Earlier today, Jada came in for 2 trainings. The first training, we did some jerk practice, and I told her to go up and wait. She was like, I can't do it. And I was like, all right, I'm right here. Didn't really help her at all. You know, just said, hey, I think you can do it. And I had my hands right here like I was helping, but I wasn't. It was a trick. She got it up. And I was like, listen, I wasn't even there. I didn't do anything. She was like, you lying. I think that's really what we're talking about here. The next class that she stayed for, she did that blue again, which was like the heavier weight, and I didn't help at all. She just threw it up, right? Because she had already gained the confidence. And in the first class, she was saying it didn't count that she did the blue because I helped. And my response was just, no one's done anything without help. You know? And I think that's a big part of your journey, like, especially spiritually when you're trying to challenge yourself, when you're trying to fail forward. You do need help in order to fail forward, you know, in order to do the thing that you don't think you can do. You have to depend, you have to trust that the people around you who think that you can do it, that they're right. They probably have a better idea of like what you can do than you do. Especially if you talk down on yourself a lot, you got that song playing in your head. So I think that's a big part of it spiritually is like, yeah, be around people you can trust, you know, develop those relationships, stay in community, because what you get out of community is that, you know, you have people around you that you can trust, that see you better than you can see you in certain ways, that see your blind spots and that will push you.
Yeah.
And be honest in it, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest things I've seen people do is like show up to a space, but then not participate in anything in the space. I can be the greatest coach in the world. If you don't do the part that helps you help yourself, it won't matter.
Yeah.
And that's super important. Show up and really show out for yourself, not for us, for you, because that's what you're here for.
And that's why we're doing those prompts in the community group too.
Challenges, prompts, everything we do is
Yeah.
for the community
It's practicing showing up authentically. You know, like if you can,
I still got to write.
if you can answer the prompt, it's like, it's not telling you how many words you got to write, just write something. And that's the practice of showing up authentically in a community space where you're interacting with these people on a daily regardless. It's called getting it daily, not getting it weekly.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to take too much time. I want
Now we got plenty of time. I'm
Hey,
just
let's
pressing.
go.
Spiritual.
Let's go.
Spiritual challenge. I think my mental and spiritual are feeling really connected right now. Not that they're never connected, but I think one draws up to the other, right? My mental goes into like the greater picture, the walking in purpose, the authenticity, leaning into my gifts and, speaking on it. I was just writing before we did this about needing to view when that soundtrack starts playing, right? When my old wounds get hit, like doing a better job at viewing myself through the lenses that other people see me. Because it's easy to like go to somebody else's or to get that dirty one that I've been holding on to out and be like, that's terrible. You know? So, I think that's really the spiritual challenge there is like holding on to the things that are easy in the easy times during the challenging times when it's easier to be like, I'm just going to beat myself up for the next 2 hours instead of being like, well, I could also stop. I could recognize, be great, like give myself grace that I hit that button again and then say, okay, but let's turn the car over here and drive in a different direction. Because that's not taking me to the destination that I want to go in.
Okay, so I'm going to share lessons that I'm trying to share lessons that everyone's teaching me. I don't know how I plugged yours in, but I'm going to plug hers in. You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? I hate talking to Emily when I feel bad. You want to know why? She's
Trying to make you feel better?
Super sensitive to when I don't feel good, which is not something I've had a lot of in my life and like expressed, right? Like I'm sure people have noticed. I don't hide it easily. I'm not trying to, but like someone's saying it, she'll be like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? You're not talking to me. I don't feel like we're connected, and it's something I'm experiencing from you, and that's not you normally. What's going on? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. So I'm challenging you to tell Devin how you actually feel in those moments.
I have been, and
Yeah.
it's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
I fucking hate when I think about how much I could do and have it.
Yeah.
And then Dev's like,
it's not even that. It's all about me. It's really just how I
then he
feel about
just pulls
me.
out. He just pulls out a boombox.
Like, yeah.
Does this shit make my people jump? Right.
I almost got up.
Change the narrative. Change the narrative.
Yeah. That's all.
It's me.
That's all I got for
Let's
you.
go before it hits. Where it goes off. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. I'm just kidding.
Spiritual challenge, I'm going to go with, I've talked about it before, but I've been praying every day and making that part of my practice. Sometimes meditation, but also actually in here in the morning when I get started. I mentioned that before.
Yeah, we know.
You're looking at me crazy.
I just looked at you crazy because I was looking for the other thing.
But I think that's been a nice thing for me to keep consistent with. I don't know that I mentally was like, oh, this is a challenge, but it is helping me with my inner dialogue, like the mental piece. Because in my praying, whatever.
In my prayer.
I was gonna say prayer or praying, and I couldn't decide.
In my prayer.
But when I pray, I'm thinking about like first gratitude and then like what I need help with. So it's kind of a practice in all the things we've been talking about. Like, this is what I'm grateful for. Here's where I need help, and like hopefully that will help me ask for help outside of that.
Bars.
But yeah, and just staying connected. Those are things I think I struggle with people.
You were about to say something. You were definitely about to say. I was
Yo, why
watching.
you said,
I was watching. I saw the face.
You literally just like,
Because when I catch it, I don't want people to like for it not to be caught.
Right, that right
I didn't
there.
mean to. I knew you were gonna say something though. Can she say what she was gonna say? Do you mind? Do you mind? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I was just, I think in my mind, I went to asking for help and then also recognizing where I can help myself. because I think I have a really big blind spot on my ability to control the narrative, right? I'm that, right? It's somebody else's song, but I fucking push play, don't I, right? Like, I'm pushing play. So I do think that's where my mind went when you said that, like asking for help. And then also, that's why I wrote that list. It's not just for other people around me, it's also for me.
Yeah.
Because it is my responsibility to console my little kid
That's
when
real.
she wants to drive the fucking car off the cliff.
Yep.
So,
Little Amy's driving.
oh shit.
Take the keys. Take the keys.
No, I totally agree with that, and I think that
I
is
just want you to
also
know,
part of
you
the
said
prayer.
a child was drunk. Continue.
I did.
Drunk with grief.
Drunk with grief. No, I totally agree, and I was just talking about that. I'm trying to work on my finances, get my money planned together, because that's a huge piece of what I'm doing right now. And I had what I feel like was a stupid realization, but I was like, when I've been with people, like I've always been the provider person, or like letting that person tell me what to do with my money, which has always ended in disaster and put me in the place I'm in right now. And I just the other day was like, I was feeling bad about it, right? I have a lot of shame around money, and like I was like, oh shit, wait, I get to actually just choose what to do with my money right now. So if I go and like fuck off and like go
I had
out
the
to
worst
dinner
reaction to this, by the
6 times,
She said it to me. I had the worst reaction. Yeah, that's fucking normal.
Duh.
Yeah, that was
so
because I didn't.
Fucking
to me, it's
duh.
not. It's not.
all
an
right,
efficacy
well,
thing.
I'm just
I was
now I'm gonna
saying
bring
I
it
had
out
a
here,
bad
and
response.
everyone
Yeah,
can be
no.
like, what the fuck? But I did realize, I was like, fuck, I have actual full control over how I'm spending that. And if I go out to eat, like if I'm grabbing lunch or coffee every fucking day, that's me fucking myself. And I actually, like a beautiful part with all the other beautiful parts of what's going on for me right now, in addition to what's hard, is like I get to fucking choose. So I actually have full control. I know what I make, I know what I owe, I know like where things have to go, and I actually can control that 100%.
Yeah.
And take the wheel on it.
I think that's why they're duh moments. Like we've all had them where
I
you're
was
just
like,
like,
oh.
I could just not say this.
Full autonomy
Cool.
achieved.
I could just but
regained.
you know, especially this time of year though, like
Yeah.
I want to buy people things. Like gift giving is definitely love language for me, and I need to not fucking do that. And so I have
Then
to
you take care of yourself.
be creative
Yeah.
and show up in different ways, or give what I can give. And I think this will be an interesting
maybe
season for that.
recognize that you're actually enough and nobody needs anything from you to keep
What?
you around.
Little M just ran into the parking lot, across the street, and into a corner.
She's in traffic. Playing in traffic.
What are you talking about? Ah! Yeah. Thanks for that.
That's real.
But yeah,
That's real.
but it's a struggle.
No one needs you to buy them anything, but they love you.
What?
Yeah.
If you've been you, we love you.
Yeah, you're
I don't
enough.
need money things from you. Right? I'm giving money things this season because most of the time I do give most of my time and everything else. It is a gratitude thing. Hey, I see what you're doing. I see something you might need, and I'd like to provide that because I can.
Yeah.
That's my challenge. Your challenge is like you're doing it like hopefully you like it enough to stay. I don't want to do that this year. I'm enough. That's your challenge.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's rough.
Yeah.
Giving money away is bad for me. I'd be like, you want this gift? Here, take this gift. Take it. No, take it. I'm serious. Take it.
Don't do
Take
it.
my
It's a
phone.
trap.
No, take my phone. No, this is what I do. Take my phone. Take it. Take my phone. Why haven't you taken my phone? Give me it back. You don't want it. That's my challenge.
Give me it back. You don't want it.
That's my challenge. My challenge is like I'll give it to you, but be fucking grateful. Like that's my personal challenge.
Yeah.
Right? My personal challenge is giving a thing, and then like let's say it. First of all, let's say it's something you can use, but you like what you have better. Should I be angry? I just wanted to give it to you, right? I wanted to see you happy.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Are
you have
happy?
better.
It's giving without expectation.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
well, I've done that. I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So my thing of I stopped giving for years to like rewrite that narrative.
Yeah.
I think I did that too.
I will draw you all a picture. Just kidding. I might though, now that I thought about it.
Ooh.
Still, just thank you for coming to Culture Quarter. We appreciate
We're
you
gonna bring our
guys.
pictures once Em gives them to us. We show 'em.
We'll come on. We'll be like,
Or a portrait.
this is what M drew of me.
Kismet is actually going to
This
draw
is a picture of me
Portrait.
from M.
just a stick figure.
I really like it. I'm going to frame it
Oh
tonight.
boy.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you are interested in joining our community, go to www.gettingitdaily.com. Reach out to us, or you can reach out to us on social media, Facebook or Instagram, under the name Getting It Daily. Thank you so
that was a
much.
Hitler thing.
Until next time, this is Coach Linden
It's
Amy.
And it's Coach Debbie.
signing
Hey.
off. Peace.
Peace.